This is day 201 of me trying to create the next Harry Potter book series. I began for about 6 months ago, and I set a 10-year goal of trying to build a fantasy universe on the level of Harry Potter. It took Rowling about 17 years to complete the entire Harry Potter world, and I'm only giving myself 10 years. So, see how that goes. Now, for the documentation, today was a very good day because of one main reason, which is I believe I found like the writing routine I want to adopt and have. I only did it today. I'm not going to say that this will be the routine I stick with for like years to come, but it's a hybrid type of writing routine where it sounds funny, but I take inspiration from J.K. Rowling and George R. R. Martin, and how they operated when it came to writing is basically what I merged together, and I create my own routine. So J.K. Rowling was known to be like a plotter. She plotted the entire story, Harry Potter in this case, out and outlined it and made maps and were very detailed, used a bunch of notebooks. I actually stopped a bit using notebooks because you can see here I kind of just forgot about it, because for probably a week or two now, what I've been doing, like the main style I've been doing, is how George R. R. Martin writes, which is he sits down and he just writes in the manuscript. He drafts scenes, and that's he drafts scenes, and then he finds creative problems from his writing. Then he solves them in his mind. He don't really solve them in notebooks. It's at least what I've observed while researching with ChatGPT. But he just write and solve the problems in his head almost. Like the Game of Thrones world is very deep. I think he had maps and different things, like maybe family trees as well. But for most, he created the depth from just actually writing in the world and making it a lived-in world. So the combination I've done is I've taken George R. R. Martin, drafting scenes and just thinking through creative problems. That's the start of my days. I always write in the mornings, so I start with that. And then after a while, when I lose the curiosity and the sort of spark I had for the book series and writing in it, drafting scenes, etc., that is the most important task as well, in my opinion, when it comes to building a book series. To actually you have to write in the world to understand the characters, to understand the world. That's what both George R. R. Martin and even J.K. Rowling, when she was doing her planning stage, she did about 5 years of planning, and she still did scenes, exploratory scenes, to figure things out. It wasn't only in the notebook. So I've taken George R. R. Martin's method basically at the start. That's part one of my routine. And then when I can't be bothered and don't want to write anything more else, I just follow my curiosity and go into this plotter mapping type of mentality to keep the world being built, but not necessarily from the main output, the main manuscript, drafting scenes. I instead actually, well, if I want to, go to my notebook and I start drafting and just thinking around the world, etc. Or I'll map something out, or I'll try to study Save the Cat, for example. That's a book I've been studying for a little while now. I'll go to Save the Cat by Jessica Brody. It's a story structure book, and I'll think about one of the parts of the 3 acts, for example, and just think around that, how does that look like in my world? So it's basically a 2-part, one pantser and then a plotter type of writing routine I'm doing. George R. R. Martin, then J.K. Rowling. And excuse me. All right, we're back. Quality video. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically what I've been thinking about like today, which I thought would be most valuable to give to you as well. The hybrid writing routine, which I've adopted. I'll try it out for like a few weeks and just see how it feels. Right now today, it felt very good because I wrote about 550 words. And to give you proof, if you're down, go right here. So I wrote 500 words, and I studied the Save the Cat story structure book, and I thought about like my opening image of the book series, because that's something which is a bit unclear still at the moment. But as you can see, let's see. Yeah. So the scene, I wrote one scene today. Yeah, 570 words was how long the scene was. And one thing I'm glad I did today was, like, one thing I've been quite bad at is ending the scenes with like emotion, like an emotional charged scene, basically having like this end point which is, oh shit, I want to continue reading. I've often just cut, like, I've written something, but it never like really ends. The scene never ends. This was actually a 517 word scene, so it's a short scene, but it had an ending. So that's one thing I'm very glad I actually managed to do today. Other than that, did the same reading as always. Read Clash of Kings of Game of Thrones. I'm very inspired by George R. R. Martin, which will probably be like, this might sound very ambitious, but like after I've written in like an easier and simpler way, like J.K. Rowling did for Harry Potter, people also understand the story more when it's like less complex. After I've done like this, written in this like easier vocabulary, I want to go over to like something like Game of Thrones and write in a more advanced vocabulary. So like I want to become very advanced in English and writing English basically. But yeah, that's it for today's documentation. Another day into a very long journey. So yeah, take care.